Episode 5, Backend Development. Hello guys, how are you? I hope you are super good and safe after all of these events worldwide. I want to add my little grain of sand in today's episode. I remember that when I started, this topic was super confusing for me. I was assigned to work on Java technologies and I didn't have any idea what a backend is, neither a frontend. So my mission today is to help you understand how backend development works. Technology usually have three layers, three super important layers that you need to understand as a base. We have the front-end part that we call the client side. It's basically what interact with us, everything that we see. Then we have the backend side, that is the second layer, and we call it the server side. So this server actually is trying to connect with a storage part, that is the third part. In the storage part, it's a database basically. We will be talking about front-end and the databases in our next episodes. To understand a little bit better, let's put the backend and front-end into a context. The front-end, it's the car that you can see and you can see how beautiful it is and the design and how the tires are put and so on. The backend is what makes actually this car to move. I will give you an analogy with one of my favorite topics, that it's football. So let's see. The front end is the match that you are watching for 90 minutes intensively. You're watching Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo dribble 1 and 2 and so on. All of this is the front end side. But in the back end side, we have someone that is training the players. We have different sessions. We have, I don't know, the shirts that are being manufactured and the brand name that is being moved, a calendar that is set, and so on. So all of these will be the back end. Now that we have understood the basics, let's move on to back-end development. What is back-end development? Back-end development is the core computational logic of a website, software, or information system. A backend developer creates components and features that are indirectly accessed by a user through a front-end application or system. So this one is a more detailed explanation of what we said before. That basically the backend is what is behind the curtains and it's making everything in the front-end work. So these things behind the curtain could be analyzing data, storage, creating algorithms, and create complex logic to make everything in the front-end work. Now, let's make this simpler, right? So we have a front-end engineer that is working on the client side, in the part that we see, right? In an app or a website. This part is static. So if this front-end engineer would like to pass this information, this data that actually is stored to a back-end engineer, they need to translate it into a code. So abstract this information and pass it to the backend. And all of this content, all of this data that it's passing from frontend to backend, then it's stored in a database, in a storage. Then there will be some connection points between the frontend and the backend. So for example, when a client requests something, types an URL or clicks on something in an app or in a web, this frontend will connect with the server, that is the backend, to give an answer. So what backend languages can we use? You may be thinking about Java, created by James Gosling, not Ryan Gosling, James Gosling. You may be thinking about PHP, Ruby, Python. All of these languages are super useful depending on different cases. Some are more verbose than others are better in other ways, but we need to understand the basics. The most important thing is how to think as an engineer, not just the language itself. Because for example, where I'm working, we are platform agnostic. So we work with Java, but maybe we can be able to have another .NET engineer that is open to change to Java. So everything is about how actually an engineer thinks. So what responsibilities does a backend engineer has? So we can start thinking about creating cool stuff, managing databases, optimizing servers, making everything work very smoothly. It could be also creating complex algorithms to making operations much easier, having client information, product information, and making everything better. I hope that with this information we are understanding in a much better way what a backend development is. So the question now is, frontend, everything that is the layouts, the design, how the user experience is and so on, that's frontend. And backend, maybe it's more about the maps, the algorithms, building complex problems and things like this. So I hope you have understand much better what backend development is, and see you in our next episode with front-end development. Bye!